that whole first day, I never even fired my weapon. I was so busy trying to just get people in the right spot and get the wounded down and get the wounded out of there with you guys, and then get more stuff and get people, control people. Cause I've got that 22 person, menagerie or whatever you want to call it. It was like, it was almost like, imagine having a kindergarten class downstairs while all that's going on upstairs.
I couldn't imagine.
It was pretty nuts, but, saw an officer, a reserve officer underneath a desk in the hard room. It's all sandbagged in, and he's on a radio. And I look at him and I said, "Who are you talking to on that radio?" And he's, "Oh, there's a sniper, get down. And I said, "Who are you talking?" Because comms was, and what it was is they had a VHF link to Baker, who had long range comms, but that's one of the issues.
Which is about 20 clicks to the east, right? Is that what it was?
No, Baker was that little one that was just one click to the north.
Okay, that's right.
That was the comm site, and then Gulf was the CPA thing. But from Gulf to Baker to Hilla to Baghdad, it was a mess.
Yeah.
Anyway,
that's what's taking us so long to get comms back and forth to figure out what's going on.
It was all garbage. So this guy tells me, he says to me, he goes, "I have a relationship with God, and when this is over, you and I are going to be friends." So this is near the end of this 3.5 hour thing. I'm not in the mood to hear this.
It's not the best time to be talking about that.
I just said, I doubt it. I want to know who you're talking to on that fucking radio.
So I remember Navy SEALs with Charlie Sheen, like, your God doesn't help you now. Yeah. Like, that's the fact, man.
So anyway, everyone's getting on the helo. This old guy works for KBR, and he's a geo water guy. And older dude, probably 40, 50 pounds overweight, shouldn't be there, sweating. He's in a bad way, and he's shaking. And he gives me a key to go out to his trailer, and he's got a satchel in there with about $150,000 and a computer, whatnot. So I open it, take a look at it, come back, and I had to literally escort him to the helicopters and put him on. I mean, he was shaking like a dog shitting peach stones.
I was surprised by some of and a lot of people asked, well, wasn't there military there? Well, I know there was a lot of the guys, even the Marines, like Lonnie Young, the corporal.
He's a reservist.
And he was a defense systems messaging analyst, I believe, is what I heard. And there was no infantry guys there.
He was attached to the comm thing.
Right. And they were just there checking the servers or something that day. And they just happened to be like, what the hell? And I remember we going, like, "You're a fucking gunfighter now." So... Well, I remember him screaming on that. There's even a video of him going, "All my time in the Marine Corps, I've never shot a gun like this," because the saw. He was on the saw most of the time.
He was a madman.
Yeah.
But when I wrote the award, what I knew about awards from the teams and Marines and junior enlisted guys never get credit for anything. So Lionel comes up to me a couple days later and he says, "Hey, that young corporal that got shot in the bullet, underneath the skin, all the way across, missed the spine and lodge over here. You can't do that twice in a million rounds."
Yep.
So Lionel says, "Why don't you write the award? You're the senior military." I'm a civilian. And he goes, "Well, you're the senior guy, so you're it." So
the award for who?
For
Lonnie
Young.
Oh, well, okay. Because I heard he was put up for the Silver Star.
I put him in for a Silver Star, and because you can't write, you can't get a Silver Star. There's no device on a Silver Star because without valor, you can't even approach the write-up. And that's why one of my big things
not know that you did that. Okay.
Bronze Star with a V, you can give a Bronze Star without the V. And the Army started doing that down in Panama, and then it just kind of continued. So anybody with a Bronze Star doesn't have a V on it. I would be ashamed to wear that on my uniform, and I didn't get a Bronze Star. So anyway, stood his post, outnumbered 30-1, wounded, Audie Murphy type stuff. Because I know if I put him in for a Silver Star because he's a corporal and he's a young kid and he's just there, they're going to downgrade it to a bronze, and at the minimum, he's going to get a Bronze Star out of it, and he could probably get maybe promoted or something. I thought, hey, good on you, whatever. But the 4 El Sals, including El Cone's the guy that got shot through the face, Donald Rumfeld, he flew to El Salvador and pinned Bronze Stars on those guys in El Salvador.
No, I never heard that.
Yep. And you know what dear old white boy got after all of that?
Same as me, letter of recommendation or accommodation.
I got a letter of recommendation, and then a month later.
Accommodation, yeah. So I got on the wall.
Mine says some really nice things. It really does, from the State Department. And tried to kill me twice. Imagine that. But what was really interesting is a couple days before I'm going back, I'm going to go back and train up the new team and new team leader and whatever. Oh, by the way, and I don't know how it worked. I think I was making 650 or 7, and then the medics were getting. Remember how the pay
750 for medics or some snipers. Yeah,
there was a kind of a graduated scale down, and I think if you were just a window licker, remember that term? I think those guys were at 6 or something. Like
600. Yep.
All of a sudden, I find out I'm going back, and remember the call sign Santa Claus was an ops guy. He was an aviation dude back at Moyoc, and he says, "Hey, don't shoot the messenger," but the way that contract was set up, and I said, "Let me guess." He goes, "Yeah, everybody is at 600 a day straight across the board." I said, "Really?" So I said, "Well, you do the math." I said, "So you mean all that money back there, and Eric and Gary and all those guys, they can't cut an extra check for dear old white boy for an extra $1,500. I said, "Well, I'll tell you what." I said, "When I took over down here," I said, "you had people hanging off a bridge like Christmas ornaments. You couldn't even protect your own people." I said, my picture is on the cover of the Washington Post." And I said, "Because I am a good guy and because I'm loyal to my word," I said, "I told Brian I will do 6 months." And I said, "I'm going to do this next 30 days, and my 6 months is going to be up to the day. And you can tell those people to go fuck themselves." And
so they still owe you money too.
And they still owe me money. And then another piece of it is right before I left, I was talking, the in-country manager, Brian, left, and there was a new guy, another team guy. And I said, "Well, look, silver stars, bronze stars, whatever, we don't get any of that." And I said, "So my guys have been in urban combat for a month. So according to the Army, they fired 1,000 RPGs and mortars at us." I said, "Not one of my guys has a fucking scratch."